Hey everyone, welcome back to the JS in 30 days series, and in this video we will learn about different array methods like map, filter and reduce. So without wasting any more time, let's go to the code. In last video we learned about the event delegation, and moving on to the next topic, that is the different filter methods, different array methods that includes the filter, reduce and map, and also for each that we have earlier already used. So like moving forward, if I check on my to-do list front end, I will actually need to add make it a bit wider. So to the table, let's make it width of 400 pixel, just a minor thing, nothing very dominant. And here I also need to add one filter that we can filter these to do the task based on what is the status of them. So if I just want to check all the pending ones, how will I check it? So let's add some filters. And also if I need to search for one particular task, then I need to add a search box here. So above the table, I will create a div, will give it an ID of filters, and here inside it I have added some CSS already. So filters will have a display of flex, meaning it will be divided into section horizontally. So display of flex and some margin. And now going back to the HTML, so I will create one select that will be the drop down, and I will give it an ID of select category, and let's keep it like this only. And the next would be the input, which I'll add a placeholder, and this placeholder would be search, and ID we can give search box, and type could be just text. Okay, so this is fine. And for the search box also there is some CSS, just make the borders rounded, added one color in background, added some margin. Outline I have kept as none, otherwise when we click on that search input, it gets some outline, darker outline. Border just gray and color be black. If I check it, okay, so there is the select is looking like this. So let's add one option just to make it look nicer. I'll add an option select status. Okay, here I did a mistake, it should be select status, and I'll just make it disabled and select it. Yeah, looking much better now. Now moving forward, we added the HTML, we add the CSS. Now going to the main part, that is the JavaScript. So in the just the bottom, first we need to add the elements. So I'll do search input, and we have now two options. Either we can use get elements by class name or ID, or we can use the query selector ones. But keep in mind that when you are using query selector, you need to either define you also need to mention if it's an ID or it's a class. So for ID you use hash, or for class you use dot. But in case of like you do get element by class name or get element by ID, then it's not needed. So document dot get element by ID. My search box is ID is the search box only, and for the drop down it's select drop down. Okay, sorry, it is status, again my mistake. Status drop down and status drop down. Did I give the same name at the top? Okay, select status was the name. So this is done. We have targeted the element, we have taken the elements. And now the next thing is that the main thing which we have been doing in the past videos, it's to add the listener. So again, add event listener, but this time to which event we will listen to. In case of the drop down, the event we will listen to will be change. So we checked about the submit in case of the form. In case of the button, it is clicked, and in case of the drop down, it would be change. And now we'll define a function. For testing purpose, you can add a console.log if something doesn't work, so you can just test it. For now, I'll just ignore because it will work eventually. So for search input, will the event listener be same? No, it wouldn't. So for search input, the event listener is actually input. So whenever we just type anything, we add any character, that is the input event. This is done. And now the thing is that don't you think that the logic that we want to run on both of these scenario would be the same? So in case it's same, like we know it's same, we just want to filter out the tasks that are visible on the screen. So in that case, we need to follow the dry principle of coding, that is do not repeat yourself. And the thing is that we need to make a function, filter task. So this function we will create, it will be an arrow function, and we created this function. Till here it's very easy. And after that, this is for the argument or for the parameter that we see, and this is the arrow, and inside it now we can write the logic. It will be filtering the tasks that are visible to us. Now in case we will just use this filter task both of the places, because we just want to do this thing only. This drop down we are seeing here, on what do you think it is based on? In current scenario, there are just two values, but if it's a very large to-do list, and instead of just pending and completed, we want to have other options also. So how we can dynamically add those options? So for that, what we will do, document dot add event listener. This time we are adding the listener to the document, and the event would be dom content loaded. What it means, that basically when the everything has loaded, so when everything HTML has loaded, then it should run. And if you know jQuery a bit, then it is same as the document.ready. And if I do alert, so once all the HTML is loaded, then it will run. Yeah, it's fine running. So here what we want to do, we will add a function make status array, and in this function what we will actually be doing is that, let's add this here with below the where we added in these elements. So const make status array, it will again be an arrow function, and inside this make status array, what we will do, first we will take the all task array, then we will be doing the map. So map is one of the methods. It will actually return a complete new array. So we actually want an array, or we can actually add some logic. So I'll add t for task, and then I can write that return, what it will return dot. So what we have, status. Okay, it will return the status. If it is 0, then it will return pending, else it will return completed. But okay, this is done, and we can here give it a name of all const all statuses. Okay, so all statuses will be actually an array, and we can process. So if you want another array, but you want to process something, like here we were having 0 and 1 as the value, but now I processed it, like I just take the t is just the task. So t has different attributes, like t has status, it has id, and it also had the status id and name. So I just take the status, not the other values, and I am creating a brand new array. Now this array will not contain the id of the task or any other information. It will just return me the status. If it's 0, it will just to that array it will add pending. If it's not, then it will add completed. But the case is that if we have hundreds of rows in the task, so all statuses will have multiples of pendings and multiples of completed. So what we can do in that case is that this all status, we can create a new set, and we can write this all statuses, and this is the spread operator. We will learn about it later. For now you can just make it just think about it as that like whenever you have an array and it has multiple elements, set is just like the array, but set cannot have duplicate values. So that's why we are creating a new set, and since we are adding this all statuses, so it creates this set of all these statuses, and it will delete the pending ones and it will just keep the unique ones. After we are getting the unique ones, this is fine, and then this operator is actually, it spreads it, like everything, it will spread it in different it will separate it by a comma or something, and it will spread it, and then those spreaded value will be inside these square brackets, and square brackets are always an array. So that's why like we can again give it a name. Let's give it a name of unique, or keep it just the statuses. Okay, so statuses are now fine. We have the statuses, and we also know that how we can use the map function. Next thing, we want to these statuses to be inside our the status drop down. So to the status drop down, inner HTML, we want to add this, and what we need to add like for each status we want to add the option. So again, status is, now we will use dot for each, and for inside this for each it will be every status, and we will write for each status, just add this option, closing it. Okay, now for each status we will add this option, and it will be the s itself, but we need to add it inside this parenthesis, and now it will be the value. For each it will run, but we need to store it, because if it's run this way, then how we are storing it? We are storing it nowhere. So let's add one more, but don't make it as const, because then it will not change. Let all status option HTML, and for now we can just create the one option that is selected, the same one, selected value can be null because it's nothing, and also it can be disabled. And let's add the option of select status, the name. Okay, so first we just creating this variable, we are storing this, and now with each of this loop that is run for each is also one of the methods, like for all the values inside this array of statuses, it will run, like if it's completed and if it's pending. So for once it will run for completed, it will create this option. So we need to store this option. So what we will do, plus and equals, so it will keep on adding that, like it will run, it will add this, and we also need to add the value here because we need that too. And for the value we need to write the logic. So if the s is pending, then the value would be 0, otherwise it would be 1. So far so good. Now the HTML, we just want to replace the inner HTML of the status drop down with this. Okay, it's looking fine. Let's check it if we are getting any error. Currently it will not show, so we need to add the task. We are not keeping the record. So okay, so we added the completed. Let's just mark some completed. So right now we have two statuses with us. One is the pending, to which it's not marked complete, and one is the completed. Let's see. Okay, we are not seeing the change. Let's see why is it happening. Okay, we are adding this listener make status array. The issue that was coming because of which it was not reflecting is that we are right now only running it on the initial load of the page. So we also need to run it post this show all tasks. So we have this show all task, Yes. So here we will run it also. If I now add it, one is completed, one is pending. So I'm seeing these changes. Moving to the second part, that is the search box. Right now the functionality is not implemented completely, we just made this part. So to the search box, let's go. Yes, on the input. So in this filter task function, first I will create a variable filtered task, and this actually will be a copy of the original array that we have, and that is the all task array. So we use the spread operator again, so we spread all of the objects of the task inside this brackets, and then these brackets, it is converted to the array, and that array is stored in filtered task. Now at the end, I will actually use the show all task. We have already been using this multiple times, but till now we have never give it any argument or any parameter. That is the same. When we give it, then we actually call it parameter, and we receive it, we it is an argument. So the show all task, I have made a minor change in it. So we can actually define the default of something in the parameter. So in this case, I have created this parameter task array, and then replaced it with the all task array. Earlier we were using all task array here, but I changed it with the task array, and this task array will either be given to us in the function parameter whenever we will be using this show all task, and if it is not given, then we can define the default one. So here is the one that I have defined as default. So this is the one we have been using every time, so it's the default one. Now going back to the filter. Okay, so in this case I will be actually providing this show all task, the filter task, and there will be two conditions. So we have the drop down of the status, and we have the input. So I will check if the status drop down dot value, if it's not null, then I want to run it and filter things, or else we want to check that we had that input search input, and we will check if its value dot length is greater than 0. So if its value is greater than 0, then only we want to run it. And in both of these functions, we will be changing the filter task. So here I will use the filter task, then we'll assign it something. Here also I'll use the filter task and then assign it with something. So filter task dot, here we will use the second thing, that is filter. So to this filter, what we will do, we can to this array we are giving using a filter, and here we will use the T, and then here we will use the arrow, and now we will define the condition on the basis of which we want to create this array. Same as the last function, that map one, it will also give us an array. So why did we not do this? Because the filter method will not actually manipulate or change this array, rather it will return an array. So that the array that it is returning, we are storing it inside this filter task. And now the condition would be that the t dot status should match with the, and here we also need to check the value. So we can do status value, number value, and we can just do it as the number status drop down value. It will just, if it's in string on a safer side, we are just converting it on to the number. So we will check the if it matches the status number value, and if it does, it will actually filter that. Okay, next thing, for the input, again we will be using something like this only, but this time it will not be for the status, rather it will be for the name. So first we have this input, so we have this task, so task and its name. Then we will use some functions, that one is the lowercase. So we are just comparing the string. So first we'll convert this array task name to lowercase, and then we will also use includes. So first we are just replacing it with the to lowercase. We take the name of the all the array one by one, and we just lowercase them, and then we will see if that text includes the input. So we have this search input value, and to this also we need to use this to lowercase because we want to compare. So on, if it matches, then it will actually be filtered. So here also we are just storing it inside this filter task. So here I have the browser, and if I add my name, if I add some other name, and I just search for my name, okay, you can see it's coming. And let's add more names, and also people. I'm just adding random text. So okay, so now if I just mark some of them as completed, and now I run here as completed, so we can see we are seeing the ones that has been completed and for pending. Okay, so there might be some issue with the drop down. Let's check. If it's not null, then we are just taking its value and we are converting into number, and then we are checking if t dot status it matches the number value. Okay, it seems fine only. Let's put the typical checking, strict checking, taking the number, taking its value, then we are converting into number, status number value, and we are checking it. Okay, let's try it once again if we again see any issue. Okay, we add these three, and I'll mark two of them as completed. And if I do completed, yeah, it's working fine. Like for the completed ones, it's completed, and for the pending ones, it's pending. Now moving on to the last function of this video. This video is quite long, so let's just finish that. Okay, so I will create a normal function, count all tasks, and in this function, what I'll do, I will task count, create this const task count, and here I will use the all task array. Then I will use the reduce. So reduce doesn't return any array. Instead, it just gives us one value. Suppose you have a transaction, many transaction, you are building an banking app and you have many transaction, and you want the sum of all those transaction. In that case, we actually use reduce. So reduce actually, first we need to define the a and t. So a is basically the accumulator. So it is just one value. You can initialize it, and then we can define the normal value. So this is how we write it, and here we will define the initial value. So if I write 0, then it will, the a value will be 0, and this t stands for the rows of this array. So I will do return, and with every entry I will do a plus 1, because with every value it will just add 1 to it. And to this show all task, let's, here only we can add it, and since it's returning it, so we can actually do clg console.log, and we can see the value. Otherwise, since it's returning, we will not be able to check it on the console. Let's go to the browser. I'll add one task. Okay, we are getting undefined. Okay, so at the end we need to return the task count dot length. Okay, so yeah, we are getting it, not the length, but we just want to return the task count. Earlier we were returning it, but it was inside this, so it's just the task count that is being updated. We are not returning it anywhere. So this is it for this video. We learned a lot. I know it's a lot to process at once, but don't worry, we will be using it again and again in the the upcoming videos. It's not that one topic, one thing is only limited to just one video. We will just be revising everything. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you like the content. Thank you.